As world leaders this week in Glasgow search for systemic solutions to the climate crisis, scientists say that one way all of us can help is by recycling more of our waste. Less trash in the landfill means fewer greenhouse gas emissions, but what really happens to all that paper, plastic, and aluminum after we toss it in the blue bin? And is our recycling system sustainable? Tonight, we take a closer look at one groundbreaking new approach to recycling and the state that says it could be a game changer for the environment. Here's Devin Dwyer.
Even in the cold October rain, residents of tiny Algonquin, Maine make the trip here to recycle.
Why do you recycle?
I think it's just good for the environment.
Glass, plastics, cardboard, and aluminum collected by the ton.
I go fishing every day.
Steve Twombly's job is to make sure the bins aren't contaminated with the wrong stuff.
I have to fish out enough so that the percentage is so low that they will accept the load.
For most American cities, recyclables are valuable commodities, sold off to help cover the cost of collecting and disposing all of our household waste.
Each of these green containers can hold 1 ton of #1 plastic bottles. The city gets paid for these today, but for a while they had to toss all of those bottles in the trash.
It was cheaper to throw it in the trash than to send it out as recycling. Most of this type of thing.
John Fusco, Algonquin's transfer station manager, says market disruptions in recent years have forced cities to make painful cutbacks. The biggest disruption came in 2017 when China, once the largest buyer of America's waste, stopped taking most recyclables.
We told people no more, except for the cardboard.
What was the reaction you were getting from residents?
People were very frustrated. And still to this day, as long as this stuff keeps coming, there will be a cost to it. So budgets, the more of it there is of this, the higher the budgets are going to be.
This is no good for
The wave of food packaging and product mailers is straining waste systems nationwide and showing no sign of letting up.
The EPA says 82.2 million tons of the solid waste we produce in this country is from containers and packaging. Roughly half of that is recycled. The rest is incinerated or sent to landfills. At the Maine facility in Portland, truck after truck dumps a small mountain of waste to be sifted and sorted by machines and by hand. An expensive and time-consuming process.
Some people want to, what we call, do wish recycling. They want recycling everything, but not everything's recyclable.
Roughly 10% of what's brought to the facility ends up being tossed out. And that, company and city officials say, is a blow to the recycling business and to the environment.
Cardboard like this decomposes in landfills, giving off methane gas, which adds to global warming. Scientists say recycling it is one of the easiest things we can all do to help fight climate change.
Americans recycle roughly 30% of all their trash, up from just 7% in 1960.
Right now, taxpayers are shouldering the burden for managing this waste, but they have no say over what packaging is made out of or how much of it there is.
As a flood of materials swamped local waste systems, Maine Representative Nicole Grahowski says her state is taking a groundbreaking new approach.
I like to call it recycling reform.
A bill she sponsored that became law last summer will require manufacturers to take financial responsibility for the packaging they create. The idea is to encourage the use of more readily recyclable materials and help cities foot the bill of processing them.
Maine is the first state in the nation to make producers of packaging like this help pay for the cost of recycling.
This type of policy already exists all over the world. There's some countries in Europe that have been doing this for over 30 years. So we know there's data to show that our recycling rate is likely to double as a result of a policy like this.
In Maine, makers of anything that's bottled, boxed, or even canned will soon be charged a fee based on the amount of packaging they use and how easily it's recycled.
Do you think it's fair for the government to ask producers to chip in to cover the cost of recycling?
I do. Unless the government does something about the problem with all this packaging and waste ending up in the landfills, it's going to keep ending up in the landfills.
So they're going in here without a lid?
Allagash Brewing Company founder Rob Todd was initially skeptical of the law, but he now supports so-called extended producer responsibility payments for the roughly 50,000 pounds of packaging his company uses every year.
How much do you think you're going to end up having to pay once this takes full effect?
A few $1,000s, probably in the $5,000 to $10,000
That doesn't sound like very much.
It's not huge. I think if we're thoughtful and creative, we're going to be able to offset some of those expenses.
Dozens of major manufacturers, including Unilever, Coca-Cola, Walmart, and H&M, have all gotten behind the new Maine law, but some retailers remain deeply concerned about its impact.
Business is unsure of the administrative requirements and what ultimately it will cost them to have to participate in the program.
They also warn it could mean higher prices for consumers at checkout.
Any concern these companies aren't just going to pass on the cost to consumers in the form of higher prices?
I think of average consumer goods, no.
Do you see this as a model for the nation?
I really hope that it can be, and it was exciting to see that Oregon followed not far behind us.
With Maine and Oregon, at least 6 other states are considering similar legislation.
When you put the responsibility on the producer of the mess, they actually have an incentive to create less waste, to create more reusable packaging, to create more recyclable packaging, and as a result, we'll be saving resources, and our towns and cities will be saving money.
Look, there's a tin can.
It's welcome news to John Fusco in Ogunquit.
I'm charged with responsibly managing this mess and the costs. It should be a shared cost.
A daily battle to keep recycling sustainable and paying dividends for the environment.
The hope for me with this new law is that it gets people on all levels trying to figure out a way to make it work for everybody.
For ABC News, I'm Devin Dwyer in Ogunquit, Maine.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.